everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I am Mr. Jason Roscom, sipping the one and only good diet soda that exists out there, Diet Dr. Pepper.
Get the fuck out of here.
Joining me each and every single week, the Diet Coke drinking Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Diet Coke, the choice of all Sith in the galaxy, except for that Sith pussy that we're going to get ready to talk about.
Hi, Jason. Hey. Wait a minute, what the fuck's going on here? You've got a Diet Coke, but you've also got like a fountain drink?
Well, so we stopped at Wendy's on our way back from the Sunflower Festival. And yeah, so I'm just refilling, recycling and making use of the cup. Still had some ice left in it when I started.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. Exclusive for the YouTube video.
Yeah, exactly.
So
whoever's watching.
Yeah. What are we talking about this week?
So this week, has it been a week? I don't think it's been a week. It'll probably be a week by the time this actually airs, right?
Yes, it feels a little bit shorter, but I mean, who knows? It'll all be transparent to the audience.
I feel like we just taped just a few moments ago. Anyway, we're going to finish our conversation about the Star Wars here in episode 76.
Yes. So that's what we're doing.
That's all I got.
Okay, you're not helping me out.
I did. But do you want me to expound on that? I got nothing. Sorry. That's it.
That's how this show is supposed to work. I feed you, and then you expound upon it. You give us your color commentary.
So
that's the dynamic here that seems to be lost on you all of a sudden.
So if you look in I was setting up the YouTube stuff to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like typing in a description. Usually I put like some detailed stuff in there and then put something funny.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing. I put in there, we finish up the Star Wars part, we finish up the Star Wars, and then I couldn't think of anything. So I just put, don't worry, what's live will be better than this description. Just tune in. Honestly, it's like, I don't know if it's because it's so close or maybe I'm just tired or whatever, but I just like, it's gonna take me a minute, man. I gotta,
we'll get you into the flow. Well, I'll help get you into the flow with A Day in Star Wars. How about that?
Yes, let's do that.
The one that I picked is for October 15th, and that is October 15th, 2001. And that is, and I love the way this is worded on the Star Wars app, at long last, the first movie to be released on DVD, I suppose they mean Star Wars movie, the first movie to be released on DVD, The Phantom Menace, is launched. So 2 fucking years and change after it actually came out in theaters, they finally released The Phantom Menace on DVD for the first time.
It's remarkable, honestly. That's like, I mean, those were the days. That's what it was like, right? When you waited.
Sometimes, yeah.
You waited a long time for the shit to hit VHS, back in the day.
Yeah.
Way back days. Which
just
reminded me.
Yeah, here's a fun little sidebar. I don't think I ever told you this. First of all, did you ever meet my dad when he would come out to visit? I don't know if you guys ever actually met.
Nope.
But anyway, you got to meet him. Funny guy. He's like an older version of me. Same height, same hair. But
just had this Hank Hill vision of your dad.
I'm actually taller than my dad, believe it or not. But back when I was younger, for about, 2 or 3 years, I think, when I was like a early teenager, maybe 10, 11 years old, he owned a video store. So he had his own business and he owned a video store. And one of the first gifts that he ever gave me was right after, I think it was Back to the Future Part 2 and something else came out on home video. He gave me a copy of those because I don't know if you remember, and I know a lot of our younger listeners will have no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but movie would hit theaters, right? Then we'd have to wait at least the year, like you talked about, for it to come out on home video. But even when it did, unless it was like a super popular mainstream movie, it wouldn't come out on video for purchase for the typical consumers like us. It would only be sold to video stores. And they would sell them to video stores for like $80 a pop. And this is back in like the late 80s, early 90s. And I remember him telling me when he gave me this copy of Back to the Future 2, he's like, this cost me fucking $80. Enjoy. I'm like, what? But movies are $20 if you go buy them on VHS in the store. Well, that's why, because, not every movie got mainstream commercial release for consumers.
I wonder what the inflation pricing is on that. If you were fast forward to 2018, dollar value. I wonder how much that $80 video would be
today. You mean?
Yeah.
Christ,
there's got to be some way to calculate that. But damn.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's like an inflation calculator out there. But so for all you fucking kids today who are like, I just watched Avengers Infinity War last week and it's not out on home video yet to download. Shut the fuck up. I've never heard anybody actually say that. That's just what I think 20
at least not after
would sound like.
Maybe after a month they start crying about it.
Yeah. But that's the world we used to live in, kids.
In fairness, though, I feel like that we've done that. Excuse me, waiting for like Solo. Like, oh man, I can't believe it's not out yet. You know what? It's September 25th. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and it just came out in May. So even we are.
And the download one was 2 weeks earlier than that.
Yeah.
Or 11 days or something like that.
And I was even complaining here on the podcast, like, oh, why can't I just get my download code now since I'm buying the Blu-ray?
We're so fucking spoiled, man.
So I know. I'm sitting here throwing stones. I'm like, wait a minute. I was doing the exact same thing last month, so I really have no room to bitch or complain. But a fun little anecdote to wrap it all around to the fact that Phantom Menace didn't hit DVD until 2 years after it fucking came out in theaters. And the interesting thing is you can't blame the fact that DVD was new at this point, because I was a fairly early adopter of DVD, and I bought my first DVD player back in like 97. So like a couple years before fucking Phantom Menace hit theaters, me and a ton of people around the country were already buying DVDs. Ooh, excuse me. So
nice.
It's what diet soda does to me. So they had no excuse. But in fairness, the DVD came out with a lot of great extras on it. It had a fucking commentary by George Lucas and what's his face, his producer of the prequels, Ben something or other.
Sure.
And a lot of deleted scenes, great menus too. Like I'm sure you've seen the menus in all of the DVDs.
Yeah.
The menus are fucking great.
Yeah,
so
the interaction with that DVD was actually really cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess I'll give them a pass on all that because they actually did go all out as opposed to just release a fucking bare bones DVD.
Right.
No extras on it.
So I just, real quick while you were talking, I throw up an inflation calculator. Now, I don't know how accurate this is, but we'll just assume that it's good.
Mm-hmm.
What year do you think you bought that? I put 1985.
No, it would have been like 88, 89.
All right, well, let's move it up because it's just a simple click of the wrist. And at no point does my hand leave my wrist. And okay, so in 1989, for $80, it would cost $162 now.
Ooh, double.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy. So yeah, that's pretty valuable. Do you still have that copy?
I don't think so. My mom actually might still. She kept all of our old VHSs. And like the last I heard a couple years ago, she was still like, my nieces and nephews were all still watching her old fucking VHSs. So
no shit. That's awesome. Yeah. We just shit canned when I cleaned out the crawl space. If you've listened to the podcast at all, you've heard about my travails with cleaning out the fucking crawl space. But that's all the VHSs that we had, because we don't have a VHS player, ironically. We'll get to that in a minute. But there wasn't nothing valuable. It was just piles of VHSs that we had when the kids were little. And there's no fucking reason to keep that shit. It's just taking up space.
Mm-hmm.
So I shit canned all of it, which is tough for me. I'm a bit of a hoarder, just a little bit. Never mind all the spec here. We're not going to talk about that.
I could see that about you. Knowing you the way I know you now, I could see you being a bit of a hoarder.
Yeah, I fight it hard, man. I really do. And every once in a while, I get a little bit of a reset. That's why Kathy's on me all the time about the edict and all that other shit.
Yeah,
ironically. We'll talk about that later.
All right. So we had a huge piece of news drop right after we fucking recorded. Was it within like an hour of recording last week?
Unfucking believable. Yeah. The irony and when that fucking dropped. If that had happened on the air, we could have done a whole fucking thing. Some of my other diatribe could have been cut short. We could have talked about important Star Wars news. Instead, they fucking wait until we're done. All right, we're done taping. You know what? Let's drop some shit now. Random fucking, what was it, Wednesday night? Unbelievable.
Yeah, and not the first time this has happened to us too, which is fucking weird.
We're some sort of harbinger of fucking Star Wars news.
Yeah, so
it just can't give it to the people.
Yeah. So it all started when Jon Favreau released a photo on, I think it was Instagram.
It was.
And it basically told us what the title of his live action show was and a very brief synopsis of what it was going to be. And not long after that, everything started snowballing. Like the Star Wars show did a special either that night or the next day, where they kind of went into a little bit more detail about it. An image was released from the fucking the set of the show, and now we're off to the races. And it was revealed that the new Jon Favreau live action series that is being released exclusively on the Disney streaming service is The Mandalorian. And before we even say anything else, I'll go ahead and read Favreau's original post. After the stories of Jango and Boba Fett, another warrior emerges in the Star Wars universe. The Mandalorian is set after the fall of the Empire and before the emergence of the First Order. We follow the travails of, is that a real word, travails?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Of a lone gunfighter in the outer reaches of the galaxy, far from the authority of the New Republic. And then, of course, they released one still photo from the set of a dude in fucking Mandalorian armor. Looks badass. Very, very close to the Boba Fett armor, but some slight differences here and there.
All right.
And it was a lot cleaner, a lot newer. And yeah, so that's what we got to start this whole ball of rolling.
So, and then there was the Star Wars show did a short, like 4-minute thing on. It showed the Instagram still, and it actually showed, I think, it showed another shot, I think, from the set or something. There was some other thing that they showed. Go to StarWars.com/Star Wars Show, whatever the fuck it is, to see that. But yeah, there's like a 4-minute short that Andy Gutierrez does for the whole thing. That's that broad's name, by the way. Since you're calling me out on that shit, I'm at least going to use her name. So yeah, I'll tell you what. It's kind of like the Resistance thing. The closer something like gets to being a little bit more palatable, or just it seems more real, not necessarily palatable. The more real it gets, the more interested I'm becoming. You want to be reserved. You want to be like, you know what? I'm not going to get too excited about this. I'm not going to get my hopes up. I'm not going to do anything.
We've learned our lesson on that.
Right. You would think, but instead here we are. We're all of us kind of just went, ooh, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
There's a great meme out there. It's that meme it's got a dude, he's walking with his like girlfriend or whatever, and he's like looking back at some other. Yeah, exactly, that one. So they have that dude, and it's at Star Wars, right? And then, or no, I forget what the dude is, but the girl is like Rey, and it's episode 9, and then the girl walking away is the Mandalorian.
Nice.
He's all looking back like this, right?
So it's probably like Star Wars fans, episode 9, the Mandalorian.
Probably. That's what makes sense. But it was fucking brilliant. I'm like, yes, that's exactly right. Like here's our distractor for any negativity I could come up with episode 9.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you hear that one of these fucking pussy European countries has deemed that as an offensive meme now? It's offensive because it's sexist. And
look, they banned memes, didn't they, in the European Union?
That's a broad generalization of what they did, but essentially they now have the power to do that and declare memes as fucking offensive and bannable and all that. It's fucking retarded. Like the whole world's going fucking crazy.
You know what?
Lighten up, people.
I would love, because we get downloads from overseas. I would love to hear some of if we have any fans from overseas, hit us up on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. And you know what? Let us know how that's actually going. Like, is it a legitimate thing? Is it what us Americans make it out to be? Because there's a fuck ton of memes about how Europe can't do memes. So I'm curious as to how that's really going.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to the Mandalorian. Another fascinating thing that I found about this whole announcement and everything that came afterwards was the list of directors that they came out with for who were going to direct at least episodes in this first season. Initially, I thought it was going to be all Jon Favreau. You okay over there?
Yeah.
I thought it was
I got this extension cord thing for my headset because I was like, I was sick of being 6 inches from the microphone all the time.
Nice. So yeah, I just assumed Jon Favreau would be writing and directing all of these because they really pimped the fact that yes, it's the Jon Favreau live action Star Wars thing. No, he's only writing and producing it, and they're going to bring in like different directors for different episodes, which like most TV shows do nowadays. That's nothing unheard of. Excuse me. God damn.
Wow. Nice.
But it's diet soda, man. So who they announced as directing the pilot is Dave Filoni. And it's my understanding that this is going to be his first live action directorial debut. So I'm going to be really curious to see how this looks. But I mean, we know Dave Filoni from Clone Wars and Rebels fame. But yeah, I'm really curious to see how it goes with him directing the live action, the pilot nonetheless, of The Mandalorian.
You know what I think too? I think by bringing Filoni into it, then it's going to, I think you're almost guaranteeing it's going to have like a Star Wars flavor to it.
Oh, sure.
Because he's been so embedded in everything that we've seen from Star Wars, you know, when we talk about Clone Wars and Rebels and everything else. So I think this is one of the things, if you're going to kick it off, bring in a Star Wars person to do it. I think it's a smart move.
Yeah, and because you think about it too, because we're with the polarization of the fan base and everything that we've talked about a lot since Last Jedi, the one consistent that everybody is on board with is Dave Filoni. Like he is universally loved by pretty much the entire fan base. Regardless of how they felt about Last Jedi or whatever, or Kathleen Kennedy for that matter. Right. He is beloved amongst a majority of Star Wars fans. So that's, wise move on their part.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good, man. I'm, it's something that's really going to launch their streaming service. And you get enough buzz by it. The shame of it, the real fucking shame of it, all this bullshit is that think of how we're talking about The Mandalorian right now. And it's not going to come out for another fucking year, right? It's like October of 19?
Probably,
like So whenever that streaming service comes out, why couldn't they have had this kind of buzz for fucking Solo? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they really fucked themselves over by not, giving Solo the opportunity to fucking get out there and breathe a little bit. Let the fans, anticipate something. Let them get out there. Instead, they gave us nothing for so long, and then by the time it came out, all people talking about was The Last Jedi. And we've talked ad nauseum about that. But when I saw this, and I was kind of thinking about it like as a tangent. But what the fuck, man? Give us.
And that's actually a good sidebar because you think about it. Because when did we see Solo? Solo was 5 months ago now. It feels like a lifetime ago. Imagine if it still wasn't out. Imagine if they had pushed it off to this December. The anticipation would be so much higher now.
Yeah,
for Solo, because think about it, we still wouldn't have seen it up to this point. Last Jedi would start to be, fading off in the background in the rear view, and like
they made a huge mistake. And it's a shame. And I hope I've seen a bunch of stuff on like different Facebook groups that we belong to. People that are seeing Solo for the first time and they're enjoying it. And it's interesting. They're like, well, why didn't you fuckers see it in the goddamn theater? Are you really so? I mean, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like you really fucked over Disney now? Like so stupid, man. It's so people are they're such lemmings and they're so fucking dumb. Not anybody who's listening to this podcast. I'm talking about those people. Those people, those fucking idiots. Those people. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
those who
not you are fine listeners.
Oh, anyway, let's move on. That's starting to push me down into a rabbit hole that I don't know I would be in right now.
Yeah, because I want to get at least one more thing out about The Mandalorian, and that is another director that's going to be part of this, and that is Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
She is the daughter of Ron Howard, the director of Solo. You probably recognize her from Jurassic World 1 and 2 as the hot redhead. But yeah, she's Ron Howard's daughter. And she's been an actress for well over a decade now. And I think she's also directed some kind of like indie stuff. So she's got some directing experience and she's going to direct one of the episodes of this. And I'm really intrigued by that. Just, you've got the family relationship there. She's really young for a director in general. And I like this and I'm curious to see how her episode comes out.
When I initially saw that, I thought she was going to be an actress in it. And that was like, wow, that would be great to see her in something like this. And the fact that she's directing it is pretty cool too. I mean, don't get me wrong, but Yeah, I'm really. It's the casting decisions are going to be really neat for this.
Right. And that's the weird thing is we don't know who the lead is.
Mm-mm.
You know, they released this image. We know that the Mandalorian is a lone gunman on Mandalore in this fucking armor. We don't know who that actor is. They haven't said shit about that.
Mm-mm.
So, I mean, they've already cast the person. They're already filming it. I'm my only guess is that it's a nobody, like somebody we've never heard of before. Otherwise, it would have been made into a big deal at this point, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. We would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff that she's directed, really, there's not. There's like a few shorts, a TV segment, you know, a Vanity Fair miniseries about the '60s, another short. So, but whatever. She's got the chops for it. She's been in the industry. You know, if she gets in any trouble, she could fucking text her dad. So yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
No, I have no reservations about her doing that at all. That's fine. So now before we move on from this, let's talk about the actual the plot, or what little of the plot that has actually been revealed so far. Everything all right? You're making faces over there.
I'll let you know here in a second.
Okay. Oh, is it the football game?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Condolences, I guess, to Bronco Fett, which, oh, by the way,
it's not over yet, but
okay. For those of us on the private Facebook group, the All Things Star Wars private Facebook group, the Sidebar Cantina, I think he posted it in there. Bronco Fett did a mock-up of Bronco Fett in this new Mandalorian armor from that screenshot from the Mandalorian, which is actually great.
And honestly, it's goddamn good. Like his Photoshop skills are pretty good. They're almost as good as my wife's.
Oh God, we haven't even talked about that yet. Oh my God, some great ones came out of last week's episode. Holy shit. So anyway, back to the Mandalorian. We're wasting a lot of time on this, but fuck it. This was like the biggest news in Star Wars over the last couple of months. So we need to spend some time on this. They talk about how he's a lone gunman and he's far from the reaches of the authority of the New Republic. So I almost envision this as kind of like an old Western, but in space. Does that make any sense? That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. You know, the lone gunman, maybe going from town to town, doing his own thing. I don't think that's by accident.
I don't think you're having that feeling by accident. I think that's what they're going for. Even with the shot that they gave us, you know, with the kind of the dusty background, you know, the dusty desert lake background, and him. You can just picture a Mandalorian just kind of like, bust his way into the cantina and like sticking a straw up through his helmet. Otherwise, I don't know how he's drinking anything in that thing.
But no, I actually really like that. And if that's the vibe and the feel that they're going to go with this, I'm on board. Even though it's the Star Wars universe, it's supposed to be all space and space battles and pew pew. It's, it would be kind of neat to see them switch gears in the same universe still on this isolated world away from the Republic. I'm fine with it.
As long as they don't fucking come up with some like Slave One knockoff. I mean, not every fucking Mandalorian has to fly a spaceship like Slave One. You can fly normal fucking fly with landing gear, not some flat bottom bullshit, Slave One thing. It's a shame Bronco Fett's not listening right now because my trashing of Slave One is really dedicated to him.
Yeah. But that's also why I'm glad they didn't come out and say he was a bounty hunter, because I hate this fucking thing where it's like all Mandalorians are bounty hunters too.
Oh, just like all Rhodinians are bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Rhodian. I'm not going to fix it. Fuck it.
No, as you shouldn't, because that's become a mainstay of the show at this point.
Speaking of mainstays of the show, I see the tank top has made an appearance.
Oh, yes, it's back. So
the tank top. Did you like find it? Like, was it like stuck in a dryer or something and you had to like, extradite it out of the fucking lint trap or some shit? That's what it looks like. It looks like something I'd scrape out of a lint trap.
No, I always knew where it was. Last week, I was too flustered to think about, doing any ribs on the show. And then I think the week before, I don't remember what the story was the week before, but I wore my official All Things Star Wars tank top instead.
You did.
But we're back to the good tank top, the one that everybody loves, the one that everybody misses. We're back, baby.
Right.
So, anything else on the Mandalorian before we move on?
No, I'm sure. You know what? As things drop, we'll talk about it for sure. And one thing I like is that I think the last thing to really say about it is StarWars.com, if they're going to use like the people from the Star Wars show to like do breaking news and put stuff out on social media and things like that, I think that's an excellent use of that medium.
Oh yeah.
Because stay ahead of the comicbook.coms and all these other websites that seem to want to be the rumor mill and like break news about Star Wars, which is they really are not.
Yeah.
Because I've come to find that there's like 65% truth in anything that comes out of those things. So I don't even bother looking at them. It's not even like I'm not clicking. I'm not taking the clickbait. But I like the fact that for something like this, it's like, okay, here, we're going to release it through the website and we're going to get it out to people. And that's what I want. I want to hear this shit straight from the horse's mouth. I don't want to hear it through some third party site. I don't want to even see it on Entertainment Weekly and that'd be the first time I see something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think they should be doing more of that, honestly. So
I agree.
Hopefully it's a trend in the right direction.
Yeah. I mean, they have the viewership. Is there a single Star Wars fan out there that hasn't looked at StarWars.com at some point or another? Maybe not everybody has the app downloaded to their smartphone, but I mean, I get those notifications. So,
yeah. And just for those of you who might be new to the show, that's where we get our day in Star Wars every week, is from the official Star Wars app.
Exactly. And thanks to my lovely wife, Kathleen, for giving us that idea. It was so long ago.
Which has now become a staple of the show. So
absolutely.
Thank you, Kathy. Moving on to our weeks, I guess I'll go ahead and get us started. I know last week was kind of a downer for me and for my whole week, and I'm feeling better. I've kind of started to get over it.
It took us about 45 minutes to loosen you up last week.
Yeah. No, I was really down in the dumps. So I'm really just trying not to think about, losing my dog and all that. I'm just trying to like move past it. So, and big thanks to all of the listeners. A couple of our regulars reached out to me after that episode. And, just kind of giving me condolences and said, hey, keep your head up. We still love you, all this stuff. So you guys know who you are. Thank you so much for reaching out. I really appreciate it. Which is why I do this show every week for you guys. So, again, thank you very much for that.
It does make a difference, though, when especially when we're doing this, because we know that we have our people. It made me laugh, actually, after last week, because I checked Facebook. As I pour this quietly, though, not like usual.
Right.
I'm still going to allude to it, so people are going to wonder what's going on.
They heard you opening the can. It was kind of hard to miss that.
So I went, and I think it was one of the guys. I forget who it was, but I saw, and it said they're fucking live now. It's like in all caps, like when we started taping. So it's fun to like be able to reach out and know that you got our diehard fans that want to see us right away, and that's awesome. And then to all of you who are listening through the podcast or through iTunes or whatever, the fact that the downloads are out there and everything else, it's fun, and it gives us something to look forward to.
Yeah. And again, this is our therapy. Sometimes we have to like pour our heart out over the fucking air just to get shit off of our chest, and then it's nice to get that positive feedback as opposed to "ha, you fucking idiot, your dog died." We've never gotten any like trolly responses like that, so that's that's been pretty nice. Also,
thank God.
I know the internet's full of those people. But anyway, continuing my week, you did allude to the fact that a little bit shorter of a window between recordings this week, so didn't really do a whole lot beyond continuing with my class. But I'm in the home stretch at this point. I'm under a month away from getting home, which is a fucking great feeling.
Woohoo!
I can finally see that light at the end of the tunnel. Because when I first got here, I think I even mentioned it on the show that first week we recorded after I got here, that 3 months that was in my future, it seemed so far away at the time. It's like, fuck, 3 more months of this shit. It's never going to get here. This is going to be a fucking eternity. Sometimes it's felt like that, but I've been so goddamn busy with it's been a very demanding class. It's really just 1 week flows into the next, and it has gone by rather quickly. It's been stressful at times. It's been stressful for both the coursework and dealing with all my personal shit that I've had to deal with since I've been here. And this is just in the 2 months period I've been in Texas, not even counting the fucking 5 and change that I did in Mississippi. So.
It has gone by pretty quick, man. I mean, the thing, I really think about it, like when you first left in the beginning of the year, it's hard to imagine. It really is. Like how quickly it's actually gone by.
Mm-hmm.
This year has flown by. I mean, honestly. And you know what? Good riddance. This year's kind of sucked. And it's been a stressful fucking year, man.
I believe, yeah, especially for you. Yeah, because you've been dealing with the retirement and everything else, and kind of having to forcefully go into the next chapter of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
So
anyway.
Yeah, but that's
all good stuff moving forward.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm entering the home stretch. We've only got a few more recordings of the podcast before we transition back into the studio, which is fucking great.
Which I never fucking got to paint. I'm so mad at myself all this fucking time.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we can always
goddamn busy.
We can do it as a group effort after I get back.
We can. I wanted to have that shit done while we weren't using it and everything. Oh God, so much shit that I wasn't expecting.
It's being an adult, man.
It's fuck adulting. Adulting sucks ass.
It's a never-ending flow of bullshit. So, but yeah, that's really my week. Don't really have a whole lot. Feeling better than last week. Good. So that's me. So what you got?
So I was like thinking the same thing, like week in Star Wars. God, it's been less than a week. I haven't for me, this was finals week for the semester.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I had finals, I had papers to finish, and all this other shit. So I'm leaving on Sunday to go down to Myrtle Beach for my golf trip, and so I wanted the semester officially ends on Sunday, so I wanted to have everything fucking done before this weekend. Mm-hmm. And I managed to get everything turned in. Everything was done by yesterday. So I'm glad. It's a good feeling. Like just kind of like when you had passed that big fucking test on last Friday, and you were just that relief. So once I submitted that last thing and pimped my professor about a grade, I was like, all right, I'm finished. I can take a week where I'm not fucking thinking about any of that bullshit. And just relax for a week. And it just so happens that this golf trip fell on that week. Otherwise, I'd be doing classwork while I was down there. So I'm looking forward to that. Like we were talking off air before we came on. I've been, home so much more than I'm used to.
Yeah.
Given what our schedules were like over the years that when I was still on active duty, it's crazy to think at how long I've gone without travel. And, aside from driving down to Maryland last week, I haven't left the greater Philadelphia area since the beginning of the year, which is very odd. It's very, very odd.
Well, yeah, considering where we came from and the job that we used to do, man, it was always life on the road. Mm-hmm. It was fucking hotel rooms, fucking bouncing around from the next place to the next. And
yep. And, seeing the world through the window of an airplane.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's such a spoiled brat, but fuck off. All you guys who are listening that were in the fucking Marines and Navy and Army guys and all those fucking dudes, guess what? Don't hate on us because we chose wisely.
Yeah.
And I spent my time more in a hotel room than I did in a fucking tent. So.
But our stresses came from other things, instead of point the gun there and shoot. It was more complicated stuff, but it was still stressful. It was still, demanding.
Absolutely. So anyway, I posted some Star Wars memes this week. That's about what I did. Star Wars related. A real nice Rick and Morty mashup that I know some of you got. So awesome. And that was on the private Star Wars group. So again, exclusive Sidebar Cantina has exclusive stuff in it. So apply to become a member.
Yes.
So yeah, semester's over. Thank God. Next semester is going to suck balls because I have to do a fucking math class. Fucking hate math. All right. I hate it. I started hating it my fucking senior year of high school. It's the reason that I didn't become an engineer when I realized that I was tired of the math.
So are we talking like calculus level stuff? Like what level are we talking of math here? Because there are very different levels.
This is, I have pre-calculus this semester and then I have the more advanced class next semester. Mm-hmm. So it's pre-calculus. Dude, I haven't done anything since I took a college algebra class in like 2002. Wow. I haven't done a lick of math. And believe me, that's not the kind of rust you can just fucking knock off. I'm going to have to fucking learn. I'm actually gonna have to pay attention and fucking do all the homework and everything else because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Well, luckily you've got me as a resource too, so you could just text me like, "Hey, I'm having trouble. Help me out."
I thankfully, like you and a couple of my cousins who are really good they enjoy math because they're weirdos. Thank God, I'm going to give you my login. You can just go ahead and no, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do that. And it'll be on the podcast. He said on the podcast. Somebody from Embry Riddle is listening. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to learn fucking math because you're forcing me to.
Right.
Anyway, so I'm not looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to my week off. So, but, my lovely wife Kathleen is doing a book club, and it's at the library. And she came home from the library and had gifts. I'm like, ooh, what could this possibly be? I was thinking, I knew it had to be Star Wars related, and these are actually pretty cool. So she got these VHS. These VHS cassettes.
Get the fuck out.
Original. They're the original releases. CBS Fox Video. Probably really similar to what they would have put on TV. So it's not the letterbox. Hi-fi stereo, digitally mastered. And it's very cool. I think she paid 50 cents each.
That's fucking great.
So, and we just had this conversation about VHS shit, right? And we don't have a VHS player. However,
funny how that came up too.
I know, right? It's so fucking. Well, it made me think about this because I forgot I put these back here. I didn't put it in the notes, but that reminded me. So everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just again, VHS is obviously almost completely dead.
Mm.
I think you could probably still buy a VHS player if you really needed to. But I like the artwork. It's got the original Star Wars, artwork on it with the Vader shadow in the background and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The Return of the Jedi. This is like the movie poster that would have been when we went and saw it in 83. So it's just really, really cool. So yeah, these will take a prized spot amongst the rest of my Star Wars stuff.
Of course, you know what this means. You have to finish the set. You have to find the equivalent Empire Strikes Back.
I'm trying not to think about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm just trying not to think about
really, because I know how you also suffer from OCD at times. So
I'm also trying not to spend money.
Okay, well, now that makes sense.
So I'm going to enjoy the ones that I have and not necessarily pine over the one that I don't.
Right.
So we'll see how long that lasts. So last thing, I have to bring this up.
Okay.
We had some feedback for the podcast from a fairly high-ranking member of our fan base.
Really?
Yes.
Why is this the first time I'm hearing about
it? Because this has been going on in the past like 24 hours.
Okay.
So I have been told that the use of the word fuck has become tired, and that way we need to bring some more color into the podcast. Because while we have expertly worked the word fuck into every other sentence that we used here on a podcast, we might be becoming a little bit stale in our language. So I was offered a list of Daveisms that are well known that I have to incorporate into the podcast.
Okay.
So, in an effort to bring this out and share, I'm going to go ahead and throw a couple out there just so they're out there on the airwaves, and then we could say, hey, yes, I've successfully added some more Dave colloquialisms into the podcast.
Okay.
One of those happens to be twinkle tits. So twinkle tits is a very generic term used for random, females, sometimes males. Depends on the size, honestly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The term dick beaters is in reference to your hands. Okay.
I've heard you use that many times over the years.
Yes, yeah. So Jason knows that there's definitely a list of Daveisms. out there, and I've been told that I need to bring this to the podcast so that everyone else can enjoy it. So I'm going to try my hardest to make sure that I am not being I'm never restrictive on the podcast. I'm not holding back ever. It just so happens that most of the time, unless I'm really, really ranting, I only use the word fuck or shit. Or I'm sure if you really listen to 76 episodes of the podcast, you would not be able to count how many times we've said the word fuck.
Challenge out there to anybody who
go
has
for
free
it,
time on their head. Do a supercut of just us saying the word fuck.
That would good on you, man. Good on you. You'd have to be a recent military retiree that with nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah.
And really well invest in your TSP because you're not living off your fucking retirement pay. I can tell you that right now. So anyway, yeah, things like, twinkle tits and dick beaters and, fucking douche canoe and, shit like that. Definitely going to try and work those colloquialisms into the podcast because, like I said, we are nothing if we don't respond to our listener feedback.
Sure. And every piece of entertainment has to grow and evolve. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it will get stale and it will die. Now, as far as the language thing goes, I don't really go into an episode being like, all right, I'm going to say fuck a lot because this is just how I talk. Yeah, I mentioned to you months ago, somebody said to me in class down in Mississippi, like, I've never heard a master sergeant say fuck so many times before. So that's me outside of the podcast as in addition to in the podcast. Yeah. So
trust us, listeners, you are not getting any, there's no censorship here. We earn our explicit tag.
Yeah. And even more so when I'm drinking alcohol, which has not happened much over the last year. So
yeah, God, it's like, it gets better. It does. So, yes. So anyway, I'm just wanted to bring that up. Hey, along with that, since we talked for almost 45 minutes and haven't gotten to our primary topic yet, this may be a record, honestly, especially since we only have 45 more minutes to talk.
I think the last Poe Dameron episode was we were cutting it pretty close too. I think we went almost an hour before it's like, shit, we gotta talk about these comics. Fuck.
Well, it's because we weren't very excited about those comics.
Mm.
I mean, let's be honest.
Sorry, Rocco
Fett. Apparently they get better. We'll see.
Yeah.
I forgot. I lost my train of thought. God damn it.
Sorry, we get up. See, that's what happens with this show too.
See, and I'm usually the one throwing Jason off the rails. This time, Jason threw me off the rails.
We were talking about all your different the new Davisms that you're going to incorporate into the show. They're not new for you, but they would be new for the show.
Oh no, I was just anyway. Yeah, they'll come out. Don't worry about it. They'll be there. It's just a matter of. This is the other thing too. Like in this medium, like. You'll definitely, if you want to listen to some really good interactions, you got to listen to the podcast. I don't know what episode number we started doing remote recording, but if you go before those, when Jason and I are in the studio, or even like the couple that we did while Jason was home, there's definitely a different level of interaction, and we are,
the dynamic is very different when we're face to face as opposed to doing this over, Google Hangouts or whatever.
Especially because there's we're thinking about time constraints and shit like that. So, whatever, you can. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So anyway, what the fuck are we doing today? What's our topic? The Star Wars.
The Star Wars, yeah.
I actually have a page and a half of notes too, so we're gonna have to fucking make sure we hit all this shit. So I was thinking about a great thing for all the fathers out there who have daughters, right? I cracked myself up. Kathy wasn't as impressed, but I cracked myself up with this. We were driving up to the Sunflower Festival, and I was thinking for dads who have daughters, right? A great thing to say to the boy who shows up. Yeah, you lean in close, you whisper in his ear, you better keep those dick beaters off my daughter, or you're going to have to learn how to fucking jerk off with your toes. Isn't that fucking great?
I love it.
I love it. And I was just thinking about for whatever reason, it popped in my fucking brain. I'm like, oh, that's good.
Is there a reason why you may have to be using this?
My daughter was home from school and she was in the back seat, and it just whatever conversation we were having, your brain isn't necessarily as random as you might think. So there was some input that generated that particular output.
Right.
Sure. But
I was gonna say, did some kid show up at your door this weekend, or
no?
Okay.
I think I don't think Caitlin wants to bring guys here.
Probably wise, probably for the best. Knowing you, and
that's listen. We don't have enough time to talk about one of the guys that showed up here. What I ended up fucking doing.
Oh, I think I heard that story.
Oh yeah, you did. I know you did.
Yeah, the driving around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm a bit of a psychopath.
No, not you.
A little bit.
Okay. So anyway, let's keep the show rolling. You got football notes in here. So
all right. So let's update the score. Okay. All right. So right now, our West Coast PR man, Bronco Fett, is at the game. He's in his Bronco Fett gear, his paraphernalia, with one of his brethren. I believe his name is Jared, the guy who puts on the Darth Vader stuff.
Yeah,
the Bronco Darth Vader. Bronco Darth Vader.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't flow as well as Bronco Fett does. But anyway, they're at the game right now. It is 19-13, San Diego State. So, Boise State finally put some points on the board in the fourth quarter, and the bad news is that San Diego State has the ball and there's only 3 minutes left in the game.
Oof.
So
it's rough.
Boise State's going to have to pull a nice comeback here and get them to turn the ball over. So,
praying for a miracle for you guys.
That's right. Go Broncos. And in other news, a game that's final for Jason and I being Air Force people, Air Force beat Navy for the Commander and Cup trophy. Yes. Represent. And plus, I mean, Jason and I, honestly, we worked with at least half a dozen fucking Air Force football players in
guys who actually went to the academy and played football. Yeah.
So, I grew up a Navy brat, and I root for Navy when they're playing other teams, but they're playing Air Force. I'd rather Air Force win.
Indeed.
Whatever. Been half my life in the Air Force, so that's the football update. We'll look at that when it goes final. We'll keep that off to the side. Hey, look, based on when we're taping right now, the Eagles haven't played. The Penn State's on a bye. So thankfully, as one of my good friends, Chuck Brinzer, reminded me this morning, is that, Penn State can't lose this weekend. Thanks, Chuck. Thanks. I know you're not listening. So go fuck yourself, Chuck.
Yeah. That's good.
Anyway.
Anything else?
No. Let's get to this fucking comics, because there's definitely a shit ton to talk about. This is not Poe Dameron. There's things to talk about in the conclusion of the Star Wars.
Yeah, so we're covering issues 4 through 8.
And for those of you who are just catching up, we did the Star Wars Part 1. The Star Wars is an adaptation of George Lucas's original screenplay.
Yes.
So this is completely different. Characters, names, the names have changed to protect the innocent. No, that doesn't make sense. But it is the names you recognize in completely different characters and with a completely different storyline. It is definitely a inferior movie if they tried to make it, for sure.
Yeah.
I think we can agree to that.
That's
what we grew to know and love. We would not know what Star Wars is if they had fucking made this movie. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Yeah, and that's how I was going to conclude this episode. But yeah, we can put it out right now. If this is the movie that had been made, Star Wars would not be the phenomenon it was right now.
No, fuck no.
It's
no way.
There's so much to say.
Quite frankly, they couldn't have made this movie, and we can talk about that at the end if you want, when we're kind of tying up the characters. But just to get it out there, like as we're talking about this particular script, and having Han Solo as a fucking alien, I don't think would have worked within the times, or also would have looked like fucking Doctor Who, because you would have had to, the green suit, which couldn't have been a puppet because the guy was fucking over 6 feet tall. He was taller than everybody else, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work with the way they have the characters portrayed. And in 1977, I don't think it would have worked at all. It would have been a really hokey fucking sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's exactly what I imagined, like some B sci-fi movie, direct-to-video kind of bullshit that never sees the light of day. I will give it the benefit of the doubt, though, because every movie script has to start somewhere. You got to get pen to paper and you got to start with a rough draft. No movie in Hollywood, as far as I know, has gone from screenplay directly to the final product.
Oh, I am absolutely sure. However, Star Wars being Star Wars, we get to see what it started as, where I couldn't tell you another movie that I even would have gave a shit about, like seeing what the original script would have looked like if they tried to do it. But anyway. And the funny thing with this is some of the gripes I have about this are shit that they eventually did in the movies, which is fucking weird to think about too. And I mean, we're not, I don't want to go panel through panel and just like regurgitate the entire story here. Right. Because that would, first of all, it would take too long. We only have 30 minutes left. The first note that I wrote on this issue 5 was when you get Anakin, and I keep wanting to say Anakin and Padme, but it's Anakin and Leia. Because remember, Anakin in this is what eventually became the Luke Skywalker character, right? So when we talk about Anakin, we're not talking about Anakin Skywalker. We're talking about Anakin Starkiller. That character eventually became Luke Skywalker in the final product. Him and Leia are alone. And out of fucking nowhere, she says something to the effect of, "Oh, I think I love you," or "I love you." I think I love you. And what am I so afraid of? And I'm just like, you just met this fucking douche nozzle yesterday when he punched you in the fucking face to get you to in your face. Yeah.
I mean, granted, that was a great panel and all, but no broad in the history of time has ever fallen in love with a guy. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's not true, but falling in love with a guy, 24 hours after he punched her in the face to get her to go off with him so he could rescue her and send her to her family.
All right. So you're fairly deep into episode 5. Let me back us up a little bit.
Okay. Right? Because we have to address the rest of this I love you shit, but go ahead.
Oh, indeed. So let's talk about the Sith for a minute. Okay.
Yes.
So very early into this comic or into this book, we have an encounter with this Sith Lord or the Sith Knight,
Valor,
and
right?
our heroes Luke Skywalker or General Skywalker and Han Solo, green guy. This dude sucks. The theme of the second half of this fucking thing is that this Sith is a giant fucking pussy. He's a giant fucking pulsating pussy, because this whole exchange where fucking Luke and Han come into the fucking deck of the ship, the cargo ship, and the fucking Sith guy's driving it and turns around and he fucking threatens him with Jai gas.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Which apparently it works on Jedi, but the Sith are immune to it. Sure.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, I just like Jai gas. Say that 3 times fast. That's what my note says. It's the whole fucking exchange is dumb. This fucking Sith is like, oh, I'm so powerful and I'm gonna pull shit out of your hand and all that other stuff. And he's like, all right, go put him in their fucking cell. We'll interrogate him later.
Yeah.
For what? For fucking what? Later on, I wrote that down right in the fucking beginning. I didn't realize how true that was going to be as we get later into this fucking book or into the next few books. The Sith. I am so glad that at the end of our Star Wars day, that the fucking Sith are represented to be such fucking tyrannical fucking badasses, because the portrayal in this fucking thing with the fucking Sith Knight and all that bullshit, which we're going to get to how big of a pussy he is later. It's fucking nonsense. Fucking nonsense. Thank fucking God somebody stepped in and go like, you know what? I think the Sith should be like really, really fucking powerful and kind of ruling everything right now. I mean, I'm just gonna say.
And you kind of like taking a step back too. We were introduced to the character of Darth Vader in this universe, who he's just basically a general. He's just a high-ranking general in the Empire. Still wears like the all black, no helmet though, and kind of like one robotic eye. Or is that Valorum? Which one has the fucking? I think it is Darth Vader that has the one fucked up eye.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is Vader, and he does wear the helmet, but he wears it without the face shield, which is it looks like a penis.
Yeah,
here, I'm a big black penis. Ah!
So ultimately, like these two characters, this Sith Knight Valorum and then the Darth Vader, eventually kind of merged into the Darth Vader we know, though still a vast departure from the character because the Darth Vader we know in the final product of Star Wars was a fucking big fucking badass, intimidating and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of these guys are fucking intimidating or very tough bad guys.
He looks like when we first started reading this guy, this Sith Knight, looks like somebody who you don't want to trifle with. Like he fucking walked in there and was like, "No, I'm handling all this shit."
Sure.
And you still get that even in this fucking up until this point. Until the fucking, I don't know what page it is. There's no page numbers here, but like right after that first encounter when Luke and Han jump into the fucking fluorescent lights with a kazat. There's legitimately some fucking Batman dumb comic bullshit happening right now.
Yeah, K-Zat.
Yeah.
Exclamation point.
I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that hokey shit. And all the stormtroopers just like, all right. What should have happened been like, oh, that's fine. Whatever. We're just gonna fucking murder you now.
Yeah.
It's God, I was like, this is not a good way to start the second half of that fucking thing.
Yeah, and none of these scenes were very, like, you didn't really feel very sympathetic towards our heroes. You're just like, oh, how are they going to get out of this? No, it's just like, whatever. It's just, we're just kind of going through the motions at this point.
Right.
And the bad guys really aren't doing like enough to make us feel like our heroes are actually in danger. They close the doors, they seal them on this cockpit, and they're like, now you will come with us or we will release the gas. And they're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we're going to surrender. It's like,
yeah, give up like giant. Oh, well, everyone else is captured already. You know what? We better go ahead and give up.
Yeah,
surrender. Yeah. We're the French. Don't shoot.
Yeah.
Sorry for any of our French listeners, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, that's the running gag with your people.
I am 100% American and
fuck yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, France, but you suck.
Yep. They escape. And again, like while they're escaping, you see this fucking Sith. He's just walking, and somebody's like, "Oh, they escaped." He's like, "Oh, they were
trying to go off the ship, but we'll discover that they've been sealed in, prepared to gas the exits." That's all we're preparing. Just go. Yep. If it doesn't fucking affect you and all the stormtroopers, just fucking gas the thing. It's like it's like the Incredibles, the monologuing. Like,
yes, exactly.
They caught me. You caught me monologuing. Yeah, that's all this fucking is fucking monologuing out of this fucking Sith. He doesn't do shit.
Yeah, we get this really interesting hybrid of the rebel blockade runner ship as the vessel that they use to escape, but the interior looks exactly like the Millennium Falcon. Did you notice that? I
wrote the same exact notes down. The Corellian Corvette interior looks like the Falcon. Up to and including the couch with the space chest. Because you see our heroes fucking sitting on the couch with the space chest.
And the turrets, the gunner turrets, the ladder that goes up and down. Yep. So it's like, God,
and the guns! Except for, again, in this script, one of the things, so sidebar, but it's Star Wars related. So one of the things, you had posted that documentary, the Lost documentary for Empire Strikes Back. There was a YouTube link to it. That might have been in the cantina. You posted it.
Yep.
So I watched some of that. You know, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just didn't have time. It's like an hour long, and I had it kind of playing while I was doing some homework.
Yeah.
Kirchner.
Irvin Kershner. Yes.
I'm not a name guy. I'm not a pronunciation guy, obviously, with the Rodinians. So forgive me if I don't do it right. I know the name. I could spell it. Words. Anyway, Kirchner mentioned something about the fact that it's not science fiction. It's
he called it a fairy tale. Now I don't like that description.
Well, I mean, it has negative implications, but in all honesty, this is I
like science fantasy or
space opera or something like that. You know, it's because it has, by the way he described it. We'll just talk about how he described it because he is far better man than we are.
Sure.
For Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly
he directed The Empire Strikes Back. We're just a bunch of schmucks talking over Google Hangouts.
Exactly. So. He directed one of the best movies ever made. So, in fairness to him, he gets. Yeah. If he wants to call it a fucking fairy tale, then he has earned that right.
Sure.
But what he said was, by calling it a fairy tale, then the things like gravity and showing up to different spaceports without oxygen masks and shit like that, where they really don't worry about the environmental issues and things like that. That's what science fiction like Star Trek would worry about, is that planet inhabitable? Like, what's the percentage, when you see them and they do all the scans and all the other shit to make sure they can fucking land there and breathe. You don't get that in Star Wars.
Right.
And Kirchner's thing was that by being a fairy tale, it's not bogged down in the details of what the science would be.
Right. Which is good.
Exactly. And it does. It's one of those things where, like, we've talked about it before. We talked about it with Solo, and we talked about it with Jedi. Not so much with Solo, more for Jedi, Last Jedi. That, things like the bombs falling out of the rack while they're in space, like gravity is suddenly a thing where they kill the dreadnought.
Yeah.
Again, this is Star Wars. If you were worried about that shit back, when you first saw Star Wars, then there's no fucking way that you could have gotten this far. Because even a guy like me who does have OCD, and like there are times when I go, like, he went into the turret, he's sitting down in a chair, but the window is on the bottom of the Falcon. Like, how does he look like this? And like, how does that fucking work? It's Star Wars. You have to not think about that and just go with it. You go with the story. And that's the point that I was trying to make, that Kirchner was making. So I say that to say this. In this original script, you have a lot of things like cabin depressurization. You have Starkiller when this Millennium Falcon knockoff Corellian Corvette is in space and they hit the turrets. Anakin is thrown into the vacuum of space.
Yeah, he pulls a Leia, right?
Yep, he pulls a Leia. Except instead of fucking floating towards the fucking back to the ship, R2 fucking slings a line out to him and pulls him in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the stuff like that, like getting pulled in, the turrets breaking down, and thinking about it like a real ship, because they say things like, get to the other side of the bulkhead so we can seal it off and things like that. Think how cumbersome Star Wars would be if we went into that level of detail. I wouldn't mind it, me personally, because I enjoy that technical aspect of it, and I would enjoy that. But it would really bog down the movie if you start getting those details.
Yes.
And it bogs this down. It bogs the comic down, because there were certain aspects that you just didn't need. I think for the comic and for this original script, what they needed is Anakin to be in trouble so that the whole thing would lay in him. And I think I love you. So what are you so afraid of? All that bullshit there has to be some sort of tension there to be able to, like, oh, Anakin's almost killed. Leia says, I hate you because you don't love me. And then he's like, well, I do love her, but I can't do it. It's awful.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Since we're talking about it, let's finish the conversation about the "I love you" moment, because that's,
see how well I segued there.
That's good. I like that.
That's what I do.
That's the Anakin and Padme thing from Attack of the Clones. It's the same fucking thing. It's
making it into some sort of teenage romance. And matter of fact, in the the fucking book.
Mm-hmm.
This introduction that I have by J.W. Rinsler and Mike Mayhew. Wonder if there's no relation to that, to Mayhew's. Probably not, right?
Yeah, no, I already looked it up. Remember, I talked about the Mayhew guy because he's the artist, and I talked about his artwork. Yeah, trust me, I looked him up to see, like, is he related to Peter Mayhew? No, he's not.
No, it's not. It's, the only Mayhew I've ever heard of in my life ever, and suddenly there's another one, and they're both involved in Star Wars.
Yeah,
but they're not related.
Fucking weird how that works.
Anyway, I don't see it right off the bat, but anyway, there is a comment made about, oh geez, fucking throw the microphone around here. A comment made about this being like the teenage romance aspect when they're working with George Lucas. It talks about, we'll get into probably a little bit more detail at the end if we have time, but it definitely talks about how there was close work with George Lucas on this. Because remember, this comic was originally released under Dark Horse.
Yep.
And when they decided to do this, somebody had the idea to do it. They approached George, and George said he okayed everything and was heavily involved with the early production of this.
Yes. And
after the Disney buyout, Lucas was like, look, I can't be involved in this anymore. After the Disney buyout, because he basically had sold his rights to Star Wars. But they still like slipped him, like, here's kind of like our finished concepts of this. And at the end of the little introduction thing, it says like George's silence basically meant approval. So Lucas was still involved with the finishing of this even after the Disney buyout, because the timing was right around the same time when we started getting these comics.
Well, the first one was released, I think, officially after the buyout happened, like right after it, because Dark Horse had been producing this for a while.
Right. So it makes sense because they were still working on it and everything when the buyout happened. So when they released, it was post buyout. Still is amazing. They hadn't owned Marvel at that time. Did they? Did Disney own Marvel?
I thought they've owned Marvel since like the early 2000s.
Oh, really? I don't know. I'm talking on my ass.
Oh, we got a couple people in the chat. Yeah, sorry you guys are late to the game. We didn't really do a good job of advertising that we were recording tonight either. So part of that.
Oh, Scott was watching the Boise State game. Did that go final? Let's take a look.
We were just talking about that.
Shit. San Diego State.
Damn. Sorry, Tom.
The Broncos. We're here for you, man. We feel you. Yeah, that sucks.
And Big Lovin has a buzz on. So, man, if everybody's, I guess all the college games ended, so that's why everybody's tuning in now. All of a sudden,
God, I wish Donald would log in because I want to bust his fucking balls.
Oh no! Don't tell me Michigan lost.
Oh, whether they win or lose, that's irrelevant. It's the fact that, sorry, we're having an extended stay in the cantina right now. Let's see, Michigan. Michigan was playing a fucking trucking school today, so should have won. Fucking faggots. Yeah, they won 42-21. They beat Maryland.
Big Lovin's just letting us know in the chat that they did indeed win. So
yeah, whatever.
Go blue.
Big Lovin, you need to fucking. I'm like Big Lovin sitting here because my chat's over here.
He's right there next to you. You don't see him?
Yeah. So Donald Sulsky, whatever. Anyway, fan of the show, member of the cantina. We were busting balls about college football, and I said something about it was related to Bronco Fitt's coloring that you mentioned earlier about the coloring for the Mandalorian armor, and like there was a comment in there as it would look better in yellow and blue, and I said something to the effect of, you mean like University of Delaware, because University of Delaware and Michigan have the same helmets, but Delaware is like yellow, and he's like, no, for Michigan. I'm like, oh, Michigan is maize and blue, and he was like, maize is not a color, it's a corn. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. It's not my fucking team. I know that they call it maize and blue. It's just like fucking Ohio State with their fucking scarlet and silver bullshit. This idiot team called their yellow color maize. For whatever reason, they have clubs dedicated maize and blue. Blah, 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 blah. Fucking gay. Anyway, Donald was like, "No, well, that's dumb." And I posted a fucking link to the maize and blue fucking support site, whatever the fuck it is, where all these idiots fucking get together and jerk themselves off because they love this fucking team so much, and your boy Harbaugh, whatever, John or Jim or fucking Jay, some fucking cockknuckle. And so, yeah, I am glad you made it, because we weren't able to talk about fucking football because nobody was here to fucking bust balls about it. Anyway, Michigan, it's maize and blue. It's always been maize and blue. I know other Michigan fans. That's the only reason I know that shit. But fuck Michigan. Michigan, you have one fucking job this season. One. It's the only time I root for your fucking team is when you play Ohio State. I fucking hate Ohio State. I hate fucking Tressel, or it was Tressel. Now it's Urban Meyer. They all fucking suck. Do your fucking job and beat these assholes at the end of the season. That's all I ask. That's all I'm asking. And then let the chips fall where they may. You have one fucking job.
So we only have 20 minutes left, so we should
let's finish the fucking
comic. Hey, there's Tom. Sorry, Tom.
We are so sorry. This is because I'm going on vacation. It's all my fault. You can yell at me later. Anyway, we got a comic to finish. Let's fucking go.
All right. So yeah, we already talked about
the shit out of this thing.
Yeah, the "I love you" moment. It's like, where the fuck did this come from?
And
like, really? And it's exactly what he did with fucking Anakin and Padme in episode 2. So
all right, I have a note here. Why is C-3PO doing R2's job? 3PO's fucking monitoring. He's going out. He's fucking flying the ship. He's fucking at the panels, opening doors and shit. What the fuck is R2's job? Besides to save Anakin's dumbass out in space. Space Anakin fucking needed a rope. That's all R2 did. Has R2 done anything except speak fucking basic in the entire comic?
No. Like, so clearly his vision for R2 was not fully realized up to this point.
Fucking 3PO is the guy doing shit. You know, like, no. That's fucking, he's an astromech droid. He's the one that's supposed to be plugging into the fucking system and doing shit. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank God. Thank fucking God they didn't make this movie.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we've got some more important stuff to get to. So they escape from the Empire. They escape from the Empire, crash land. They go to the Yavin system, which is a forbidden system. Ooh.
Yavin system.
Yeah, and they crash land on a planet that is occupied by Wookiees, not Kashyyyk, but this other Yavin planet. Okay. They bump into Owen Lars, who is a human on the Wookiee planet. Yep. Did you not get the feeling that this was fucking Art Carney from the holiday special?
No, I did not. Because there's no universe. There may be one universe. If you're a Rick and Morty fan, you know that there's an infinite amount of universes. So there may be a universe where I actually enjoy the holiday special, and I would equate something in this world to the holiday special. There may be a universe that exists like that. This is not that one. So no, Jason.
That's the only thing I thought of when I saw Owen Lars in his fucking treehouse on wannabe Kashyyyk. Bounty hunters, they colored them up all in the fucking the bounty hunters from Empire. I think we can just kind of breeze past that. Can we talk about the fucking Wookiees and this whole?
We have to. The one thing, there's a Mando sighting with this group of bounty hunters.
Yeah.
Right. There's a Mandalorian armor. They don't identify it as a Bronco Fett. Yeah, Bronco Fett. You've now replaced Boba Fett in my language. It's now everything is Bronco Fett when I see a Mando. So congratulations. But you also have Bosk. You have Zuckuss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have basically the entire clan of now. And granted, there's artistic licensing for a lot of this because it was an unfinished script. You know, there wasn't storyboards and everything else done for this fucking script when they did it. So obviously we know that these characters exist. So this is what the artist did to represent a group of bounty hunters. So take that for what it is. But we do see Bosk, we see Zuckuss, and a Mandalorian.
Yeah. So let's talk about the whole Wookiee thing, because this, as we see later on, the interactions that they have with the Wookiees is very similar to what we see with the Ewoks.
Exactly.
You know, it's the Wookiees taking on the Empire, you know, because I know that's your favorite scene from Return of the Jedi is when the Ewoks come out and they beat down the stormtroopers with sticks and stuff. Now you see the Wookiees like fucking lifting up stormtrooper and just fucking and just kicking the shit out of them.
So as an Ewok lover, yourself being one, not me, obviously.
Of course.
Does this not make more sense? Does this not make more sense what they represented in Return of the Jedi? That you have 3 foot tall fucking these unemployable midgets. That's horrible, Dave. You're going straight to hell. But basically,
well, we did need new Davisms, so
that's great. Unemployable midgets. Thanks, Jason. So, God damn it. What the fuck was I saying? Oh no, this whole attack scene, the whole sequence of the Wookiees have been attacking this portion of the base for years. It says for years. So yes, that means they've been planning an attack. They've been actively attacking these guys. They're strong. They're bigger than a human. They're bipeds.
They're warriors.
They're Wookiees. Exactly. They look like Zabrix, but they're Wookiees.
Yeah.
And of course, Han Solo speaks Wookiee for whatever reason, because he's a green guy that looks amazingly similar in facial structure to what they drew for the Wookiee, whatever. Yeah. But he speaks it. It just so happens. He's also 150 years old. Did you know that? It says that in the introduction, the making of.
Anyway. I must have missed that.
But it makes so much more sense if it was fucking Wookiees making that attack and fucking doing all that shit. Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
How did we get to fucking Ewoks?
Now that does make sense. You know what doesn't make sense is, okay, we just took over this Empire thing. Now we're going to teach all these Wookiees how to fly starships over the next 20 minutes and then go attack the fucking Death Star. That doesn't make sense. That is the most retarded fucking thing I have ever seen in anything Star Wars related. Jar Jar, none of that. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of.
Well, thankfully, as somebody who's watched the holiday special more than once, you're going to say that that's the dumbest thing you've ever seen.
The holiday special is brilliant, and someday you will see that.
No, I won't. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that there. I'm trying to flip.
At least not admit that the fucking Ewoks teaching them how to fly fucking starfighters over the course of a couple hours to attack the Death Star is not completely ridiculous.
No, ridiculous is the fucking Wookiees when after they teach them how they painted up war paint in the back. Like, see, Wookiee war paint.
Yeah,
real primitives. Like talk about some racist shit right there.
Like, how do you have time to do that?
It's the same comic that fucking punched Princess Leia in the fucking face.
That
now
is
they
true.
got these Wookiee creatures fucking painting up their starships. I don't know. I'm very uncomfortable with the whole situation.
Yeah, so there's that. Like, I'm like, I can't let that go. I'm like, there's. Thank God.
I don't blame you. I wrote down teaching Wookiee to fly. By the way, that was on my notes as being ridiculous.
And thank God that didn't get translated to the Ewoks too. Though we did see them kind of control the ATST. Though Chewie was in there with them, so he was probably controlling it more than the fucking Ewoks.
So did we get past a point where we can? No, we didn't. So let's talk about the Darth Vader really fucking emasculating the fucking Sith Knight.
Yeah.
Basically, Darth comes in and like, you're my bitch. You were unable to fucking capture these people. I've got this Princess Leia broad here in my fucking torture room. Is 50 Shades of Grey fucking torture room. And did you notice that the Governor Hoboger, or whatever the fuck his name is, fucking
not Tarkin. Let's just call him not Tarkin.
Not Tarkin. Is there this fucking Sith faggot takes off a pussy, whatever. He fucking takes off his fucking mask as Vader's just basically fucking telling him he's a fucking bitch. Right? I don't know what the fuck happened to this dude. I really don't. I don't know if this is part of a plan or what, but it's fucking, he's just like, he turns from, he's an amazing Sith Lord to a fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And then it makes no fucking sense.
And then he immediately rescues our heroes and is like,
catch them in the hallway. It's like, you know what? Us Sith and Jedi, we're like the same thing. We have to help each other out. No, you don't. You've been against each other for fucking millennia. This isn't Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
Just knock it the fuck off. Oh, I'm going back for the princess because of the power of love. The power of love. This is the singing episode of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, it's very nice.
And you'll have to pay me a lot to not sing the next time.
We need more singing on this show.
In the panel, it's the fucking musical version. In the panel where we meet Governor Hoboger or whatever the fuck his name is, doesn't he look like exactly Sir Ian McKellen? He
kind of does, actually.
It's like this character will be played by Sir Ian, is what I wrote down. Because when I looked at it initially, and he's like, especially the one at the bottom where he's reaching in to fucking choke out fucking Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, I regret that I won't be there myself. Like, that's I saw that and I'm like, that's fucking Sir Ian. Yeah, they obviously had a typecast.
Yeah. They had a boner for him. And they're like, oh, we wish he was ever in Star Wars. So,
but I can't.
We're gonna make it happen.
The fucking fact that we go from this to the Sith helping out Anakin to escape, and we have the garbage chute. They fucking jump into the fucking garbage chute, and then we have that that entire scene, sans Wookiee, with the Sith Knight, the fucking Jedi, and Princess Leia being a real pain in the fucking ass. You know, she deserved that punch in the mouth. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Like sometimes. I mean, listen, the way she fucking acts, this isn't suitable for a fucking princess. Shut the fuck up. Would you like it back in your cell?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
But I mean, in that sense, they stayed true to her character. You know, her
character. No. See, you don't. Listen, when you first see Princess Leia in that fucking cell, she's being a real fucking bitch. Like, there's a difference between being a royal bitch and being some fucking prissy C word. I'm not saying it. I've gone too far a couple of times in an effort to make more fucking whatever to spice up the content for those of you in the chat that missed the beginning of this.
Yeah.
We had fan feedback that it needs to be more colorful, so I'm working on it.
Yes. We're trying to find that balance, you know.
Yeah, so good luck. Anyway, yeah, so they don't fucking what I do like. Well, I like the fact that the power's out. That's why the fucking shit shut down, not because R2 saves the day. Shut them all down.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and keep in mind, this was like the last few panels of the fucking book too. Is when they're in the garbage chute. It was way towards the end.
Yeah, it's
trying to get
legitimately like a dozen panels before the end.
Yeah, it's because it's while the Wookiee starfighter team is attacking the Death Star, and the reason that the chute stops is because they fucking damaged the Death Star while they're doing their bombing runs.
Exactly. It wasn't like some magical trench run or anything else. It's interesting. I have to go back and actually read the making of Star Wars because it's been a while since I read it, and I'd be curious to see. But I'm sure he talks about that. You know, just as a, I know we're running out of time, but if you haven't read the making of Star Wars, you need to read it. If you're a Star Wars fan and you want to be like really gain some insight into the Star Wars movie, you know, they talk about this script a little bit. And if you have the book on iBooks or whatever, the iBooks version has like embedded videos and audio recordings of original interviews and shit like that. It's fucking great. Anyway, moving on.
Yep. So
at least it's Star Wars related.
Yes. Long story short, they get off the Death Star. Everybody lives. Even the Obi-Wan-ish character, General Luke Skywalker, survives to the
end.
Not
everybody. Fucking Vader blows up. Fucking Sir Ian blows up.
That's true. Yeah, I'm talking.
I mean, to believe that fucking Anakin and Leia are getting blown up in the one panel.
Well, no, they kiss as you see the Death Star blow up, kind of like in the background.
Oh, so they're romanticizing the giant orb exploding.
Yeah, because in the next thing, she's handing out trophies. Oh, by the way, Chewbacca actually gets a fucking medal in this. Now, I don't know if that's the writers kind of fucking doing a little nod, wink, wink. You know, we'll actually give Chewie his
probably.
Medal in this,
and why fucking 3PO and R2 get medals, and you are designated A4 and will serve Anakin Starkiller, the new protector of Aquilai. Why rename R2?
Yeah, I don't know. That's
like
weird.
How fucking random is that? You're going to be called A4 now. Why?
Maybe in his original vision, like your designation is based on what job you do at the time, like an AFSC. So right now you're 2A431, but now I'm going to make you 1 Bravo 431. And that's your new job.
I love the fact that if nobody's been in the Air Force, they have no fucking idea what you're talking about right now. It's fucking great.
We're military guys.
I can see that though. I will.
I'm just spitballing
logic on that.
Yeah, I'm just spitballing. That's the only thing I can think of that he was envisioning with that.
All right. So they finish with a crawl.
Yes.
And I'll read it. As word of the destruction of the Space Fortress spread, I should really read this in Hank, but that would take too much time. 1,000 new systems joined Queen Leia and the Rebellion, causing a significant crack in the Great Wall of the Galactic Empire. Wow. Good fucking symbolism there. Yeah. The acts of Skywalker and Starkiller once again sparked fear in the hearts of the greedy and malevolent. Greedy and malevolent. It's poor writing. And a new sense of liberty not felt for 100 years swept through all the hearts, or through the hearts of all. But our hero's great adventure was yet to take place. The one that would be known as Saga of the Ofucky. Ofucky? Ofucky. Oh, it's Ofucky! Oh, I wish they wrote the Saga of Ofucky. That was, oh my fucking god. T-shirts, but the fucking T-shirts you can make with the Saga of Ofucky. That I'm writing that shit down right now.
Which you read that and you're like, what is that in reference to? What is Ofucky?
Of Ofucky.
It's like, was that the planet? No, because the planet was Aquilay. So, like, what the fuck is that even in reference to?
The Saga of Ofucky. Very good. I'm so glad I read that.
Shit. So, yeah, it's, as we mentioned at the beginning of this.
That's what happens when I have to pee.
Yeah, it's interesting to see where he started, where his mindset was when he first put that pen to paper. Like, what do I want this space opera to look like? And
Mhm.
thank God he went through multiple revisions. He brought on Ben Kurtz or Ben Kurtz,
Gary.
uh, Gary Kurtz, to help him with the script and kind
Gary.
of and to kind of like flesh this out because eesh, this was pretty rough at times. I mean, you can see the seeds of the shit that we really like, but you can see the seeds of some really shitty stuff too. So thank God it got refined. And then of course his ex-wife, Lucas's ex-wife, who edited the original movie, was a fucking master, and she really made the original movie what it was through all of her editing and everything else. And of course, credit to John Williams too for.
Oh god, yeah, John Williams. It's like I don't know. I can't even come up with an analogy quick enough to say how important John Williams is to the entire flavor of Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only, it's like drinking out of drinking 25-year scotch between a paper cup and a fucking piece of crystal. You know what I mean? It's John Williams is the crystal that makes that 25-year scotch drinkable.
Absolutely. That's a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah. See, it took me 45 minutes to an hour to fucking wake up, but here I am.
Yeah, with 4 minutes left.
With 4 minutes left. It. Yes. He scores.
So when you get back from your vacation, I'm hoping that we can pick up with Rebel Season 4. If not, we'll have a filler week.
Listen, I've seen Rebel Season 4.
Oh,
so
that's true. Yeah,
it's not an imperative that I have to watch it again. I can, just like we did with Season 1 and 2. I didn't rewatch it for all of that. We just went back and went through it. So again, I will be ready. I will be ready to talk Rebels Season 4 and conclude our Rebels story next. Well, no, we'll have to break that up in at least 2 parts.
At least 2. I'm thinking maybe even 3 because
it's probably worth 3, to be honest, just because there's so much that happens in the tail end of that. But you watch it, see where you think the natural breaks are, and then we'll go from there. And honestly, I got a couple of 10-hour drives here ahead of me, so I'll probably have it going in the background just to kind of refresh myself with some of the dialogue and some of the higher points.
That works. So yeah, more than likely, Rebel Season 4 is coming up next. And yeah, if we break it into 3 parts, it may not be 3 weeks in a row. We may have to just like break it up with some shit in between. Sorry to everybody who's in the chat who joined us late. We know this was kind of inconvenient, but Dave's going on his vacation tomorrow, so we had to get this done now.
Yep. It's either that or you're going to have a version of the podcast that was me talking in the car with all the road noise and everything else. And I just don't think anybody would really hear that. Yeah, we did discuss that option, honestly. Yeah. But this worked out better, so.
So that's it, Dave. Enjoy your vacation. I'm hoping you get everything out of it that you need to press through this next semester. And just think, by the time you get back from this vacation, I'll just be a couple weeks away from getting home.
That's right, and we'll have Resistance to talk about as well.
That's right.
That's what they're talking about in the chat right now. They're talking about Resistance. Comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. So depending on, because I know the first episode is a 2-parter. It's just like they've done with all of the other animated series. Like they take the first 2 episodes, just put them together as one and push it out. So that may have to be a subject for next episode, and then Rebels after that. We'll see.
Watch what you can, and then I'll be ready for either one.
Yeah. Well, I have to figure out a way to fucking watch Resistance because, like I said, I don't have fucking TV or access to TV or.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
If anybody knows of it streaming anywhere, for fuck's sake, let me know.
Yeah,
but
or if you have a login, you can pass it on to Jason so he can see it.
Yes. Until then, Dave, again, enjoy your vacation. Hope it all goes well. Hope you kick some ass in golf. And to everybody in the chat, and to you, Dave, may the force of others be with you.
May the force of others be with you. All right, now what do I click?